Hello, I hope everyone has had a good week. Welcome back to the next show. This is going to be totally different, actually, this one. I'm going to talk about mainly a little experience, and I'm not going to say what social media it was on. There was an issue on social media Saturday evening where I was doing a live video, and I think it's only right we talk about what happened during that live video. So, before we get heavily into that, just very quickly, I just want to let you all know that actually, do you know what? I feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to being me again. There's been a bit of a wake up call for me, and yeah, I'm pushing forward. You know what? I'm pushing forward. We're going to get there. But on to the main topic of today's show. Now, I really want to talk about social media and how some people use social media. Because, as I say, Saturday evening, I jumped online. This weekend, I've been involved with the MS Trust. They've been doing a stream for MS weekend, trying to raise money for the MS Trust. Which will go into things like MS research and other bits and pieces, helping people, all that sort of stuff. So that's been a real positive. I'm going to be honest, that's been an incredible positive. Sort of just jumping on, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I've not gone absolutely to town with raising loads and loads of money, but something's better than nothing, and I'm quite proud of that. I've been streaming computer games on certain types of streaming sites. I've been jumping onto live videos to talk about things, all of that sort of stuff. Now, that one Saturday evening, I jumped online. It was quite a long live. I was on there for between an hour and a half and 2 hours, roughly. Now, the first sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes were absolutely brilliant. Really were fantastic. A lot of people from the MS community jumping in, having a conversation, asking questions, and just having a conversation about things, seeing how everyone's doing, and just chilling out together. It was really, really nice. There was other people in there as well, and again asking questions or just having conversations, and it was lovely. It really was. And then came what I can only describe as a tsunami of trolls. Do you know what? It was something I've never ever seen before. And I know I'm still really new to all of this stuff. I've only really been doing everything since maybe October last year. So there's still lots for me to learn. But oh my word, the level of trolling was ridiculous. And I can't understand why people think that is even remotely acceptable. Except, let's see it for what it is. People go onto social media, and there's a percentage of people, and I'm not going to start chucking out exactly what I think and whatever else, but there's a decent amount of people that go onto social media purely to have an argument, purely to have a go at other people, and purely to try and upset people. And again, I'm going to say it straight, these people are absolute clowns. They are genuine clowns. And I'm not even talking the funny type. It was pathetic, honestly. I can't explain it. There was people coming on there, calling me daddy, calling me uncle, abusing me for the fact that I've got a shaved head. I mean, it really is. It's just incredible. One idiot even thought it was funny to make a comment about my wife. It's not the kind of comment somebody would make face to face. It's the sort of thing they're only doing it because they're sat behind a keyboard at home where nobody knows their face, nobody knows their voice even. They've got no bravery about them. They've got nothing. And it makes no sense. The internet, if it was used properly, would be an incredible thing. It really would. Now, to me, I like to think I use the internet as properly as I possibly can. Don't get me wrong, I am not perfect. Never gonna be. But I wouldn't go on to somebody's live video where they're trying to have a conversation with friends and whatever else. I just wouldn't go on there and start abusing them. I wouldn't even think about it. It's not the kind of thing that would go through my head to do. Why do it? Where does it come from? Where does that fun come from to abuse someone that you haven't got enough about you to do face to face? Again, it can only come from the fact they know full well there's nothing can be done about it. So these social media companies, they've got to start getting involved in this. It shouldn't necessarily be down to people reporting what's going on. It shouldn't necessarily be down to somebody blocking everyone, because trust me, I got to a point last night, my block button was my best mate. It really was. I mean, we were just the best of friends. But it shouldn't have to be that way. It genuinely shouldn't. And don't get me wrong, again, I'm no computer programmer. There's got to be a way that these social media companies can address the issue. Because there's going to be people out there that would suffer that kind of abuse, and it's going to cause them massive problems. It's going to make them doubt themselves. It's going to make them concerned about doing those sort of videos again. Now, again, I am no programmer, but there has to be a way. These social media companies have got to start stepping up, and they've got to start saying, enough is enough. We want good people using these apps. We don't need people using these apps that are going to abuse them. That's fact. It doesn't need to happen. And don't get me wrong, it probably is something that's so far down the line in the future, technologically, whatever. But it's a very, very good job that I do have quite a good head when it comes to being abused and whatever else. 20 years in the line of work I've had, you get used to it. There's not many things I haven't been called in my life. Most of them are probably pretty true. But when you're trying to do something good, when you're trying to do something nice, when you're trying to do something respectful, why suffer in that manner? Why would you have to doubt whether it's a good idea to continue doing what you're doing? Because for me, I'm getting my story out there. Okay, to some, my story might not be that interesting. Actually, to me, it's incredibly interesting. Fact. Because my story, to me, hopefully gets out there. Somebody listens to it and goes, actually, I can relate to that. Because that person relating to what I'm saying, maybe that's going to take a little bit of stress off them. Maybe it's not, but I hope it does. I shouldn't have to then think to myself, is this the right thing to do? Because some bunch of complete muppets think, what shall I do on Saturday night? If it was me and I was able, I'm either going to take my wife out on a Saturday night. If I've not got a wife, I'm going to go out with my mates. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to have a laugh. I'm going to do what you're supposed to do. You know, even if there's nothing else to do, stick a bit of rubbish telly on. There's plenty of it. Believe me, the telly is absolutely poop these days. There's never a lot on. There really isn't much on. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to have an early night should I need to. What I'm not going to do is jump onto social media and start abusing people randomly. Because I like to think of myself as a good person. I don't know what these people think they actually are. And that's a cold, hard fact. Because what they're doing is bullying. And it's one thing in my life I absolutely detest. It's bullying. Bullying's not necessary. It really isn't necessary. There's better things you can do with yourself. If you don't like someone, don't speak to them. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You just don't have a conversation with them. You keep yourself to yourself and carry on with your life away from others. It really is that simple. There's too many things in the world that are going wrong, that are not good. You don't need to try and make it worse for people. Give me a second. I'm just going to have a drink. This chair's got a right creak on. Let me stick my drink close to me. But yeah, so that's where it was on Saturday night. And I'm going to now go into the fact that during that live, there was a lot of people in there that were good. I mean, there was over 2,000 people that jumped onto that live at different times. And I'm going to be straight, probably 50-50 split. There was probably 1,000 really good people and 2,000 complete and total a-holes. That's all I can say on that. I'm not going to say the full word, but they were complete and total a-holes. And to those that were good, they defended me absolutely incredibly. They really did, and it made me so grateful and so, I'm going to say the word proud. It genuinely did. It made me really proud that these people we've never physically met. We've had conversations, and they've always been brilliant conversations. They've always been really great. They are genuinely good people. That's there for all to see. They did everything they could to try and defend me through it all. Now, I did the best I possibly could in terms of trying to block it out, trying not to respond and whatever else. But you know what? There's only so much you can take until there comes a point you've got to say something. And I'm going to be honest, I did at times. Like I say, there was one in particular, made a comment about Lisa, my wife. And actually, I'm very glad he was on the computer because I may not have held my temper on that one. Whatever you say about me, you say about me. That's fine. Not a problem. You don't talk about my family. You do not talk about my family. It's not necessary. It's not needed. And all that's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where I am going to tell you where to go. And again, I'm not doing this podcast to try and make me sound like I'm being a snowflake about it all. Because do you know what? I'm really not. I'm genuinely not being a snowflake about it in the slightest. Because actually, doing what I'm doing on social media, on this podcast, now doing the computer game streaming, all that sort of stuff, I'm putting myself out there. So I've got to get used to this side of stuff. And do you know what? I actually found it, as a one-off, kind of helpful. I really did, because it taught me a little bit of how the other side of things actually works. And as much as it was frustrating, as much as it was something that really did great on me, it was also something that taught me quite a valuable lesson. So now, I've got something to look at how I can change it, how I can improve it, and how I can try and stop it happening again. Because I want these live videos, and I'm going to start doing an awful lot of them. I really am. This podcast, I'm actually starting to consider maybe doing this live. I'm aware there is a service for doing that, and I'm considering it. Because that way, I can have a backwards and forwards with people. Because do you know what? It's actually really fun to do. It's going to take a while for that to happen, because it's a learning curve. I've got to keep learning. And that's something I want to learn. Because if I can improve, that's nothing but positive. And at the moment, I'm sat here right now on Sunday, and I've had the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, doing this streaming and whatever else. And all I can see is there's things I can improve at. There's things I can do to make everything a little bit better for people watching, listening, all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to do that because I'm going to be totally honest. I love doing this stuff. I really genuinely love doing this stuff. And I'm going to learn it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to improve. I'm going to make it better. And some silly little troll sat in his basement tapping away on his keyboard because he's got nothing else to do with himself ain't going to stop me doing that. That's cold hard fact. It really is cold hard fact. I've got this new level of fight back in me that I'm there again. I'm back to being me. I'm going to mention the fact that obviously I had on Monday contacted my doctors regarding mental health issues because I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'd ever actually come to terms with my diagnosis of MS. I thought I had, but I don't actually think I'd completely processed it. So I am seeking some help for that because, again, if you've got issues going on like that, talking about it is the right thing to do. It really is. And again, just putting the thought out there, and I mean, it's tomorrow, Monday, I've got my first phone call conversation, and I'm really looking forward to it. Because if there's a way I can fight back, I'm going to fight back. I really am. I'm not prepared to keep being in the doldrums with it all because it's just not me. It's not me. These last, it's going to be as much as probably a year, maybe more, that I've sort of been plodding away with nobody knowing just how I'm feeling. That ain't there anymore. That really ain't there anymore. I'm back to being me. I'm back to fighting through this all. And I'm back to kind of taking control a little bit. That old saying, I've got MS, MS hasn't got me. Yeah, I'm right there again. I'm right there. It's had its time. It's time for me to start being me again. I want to start seeing my smile. I want to start seeing me making my family smile. And that's what's going to happen. It really is. And again, part and parcel of doing that is what I'm doing now. Recording this podcast, doing the live videos and everything else. It's not all going to be negative. And I know, I'll be honest, these podcasts over the last few weeks probably have come across quite negative at times. And do you know what? I apologise for that. But we're getting back to the way it should be now. We really are. And as I say, I've had a fire lit in my belly. I really have. And to me personally, the MS doing what it does to me has made me realise that it's not anything about giving in. Absolutely not a chance. It's all about pushing forward. MS can progress as much as it wants to progress. So am I. I'm going to progress as a person. I'm going to keep moving on and I'm going to keep going because it's what I want to do. I'm not going to sit here today and start talking about symptoms or anything like that. Do you know what? We do that every week. We're not doing that this week. We're probably not doing it next week unless we really have to. Right now, this is about me talking about, as the podcast says, Mike's journey with MS. Mike's MS journey. Same difference. But this is about me now, being me, and explaining what I'm doing to fight back on that journey. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be quick. But it's going to happen. Can't stop that. It's going to happen. And hopefully it's coming across that I'm actually seeming a lot happier myself. Because I am. And again, this is the route we're going to start going down. I am always going to talk MS because that's what this is about. But I am going to start tweaking the show from time to time. If I've got things to talk about in the real world, I'm going to start talking about. I'm not going to continue spending 20, 25, 30 minutes a show just talking about my struggles. I will talk about what I'm doing to fight them. That's fact. But actually, let's change it up a little bit. And just for a few weeks, and we'll see how it goes. I'm also going to start talking about what is going on in the world, how that can affect everything with me. And we'll see. We'll just see. We'll have a look and see if it makes a difference. Because actually, I've enjoyed this. I've not enjoyed having to talk about something kind of negative in terms of the trolling, but I've enjoyed talking about something different. I've enjoyed not concentrating on my personal negatives. It's time we open the door a little bit and start moving the goalposts and improving. It's a good word, that. Improving. I like it. It's a very good word. But I'm going to call that the end for today's show. Thank you very much for listening. And I know this has been a totally different one. It really has been totally different. But I hope you've enjoyed it. And I totally mean what I say in terms of social media. These people that go on and just troll, clowns, absolute clowns. Get them off social media. Get them off the internet. Can't use it properly, don't use it at all. Let's have the internet for people that want to use it for just chilling out, using it to relax, using it to talk to each other in a good manner. That for me is what the internet should be about. It's certainly what social media should be about. And that will do for today. Have a great week, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.